Hello and welcome to all the ghouls and vampires out there. I'm Joe. Here with me is my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
And when I say vampires, I don't mean the Twilight vampires. Can't believe that needs saying. And the reason I sound peeved is because we just got finished watching a really stupid film called The Last Voyage of the Demeter. The trailer looked good. All evidence with the makeup looked like it was giving a nod to Nosferatu, a great classic silent film, which was the first depiction of Dracula and a seminal work. I was really excited because of the makeup, the setting, and the idea of it being on a classic ship, which is a great setting for a slasher horror film. But somehow this movie was such a great crew, a great cast, with them taking an actual event from the book and just concentrating on that small part rather than spinning the book into some random Elseworlds nonsense, there was no way they could fail. But I forgot, Hollyweird. Where there's a will, there's a way. And if I sound somewhat aggravated when I say this, I hope you don't mind. But I am freaking sick and tired of Bram Stoker's book being ruined, mocked, and ultimately shown no bloody respect. Use his words in the immortal words of Christopher Lee. I love the Universal and Hammer Dracula movies, but they are not faithful to the book. Not even 1 second of the book. We have never had a faithful adaptation of the novel, or of even one chapter of the novel. Why can't we have that? And this is by far the worst offender, even though it was supposed to be the least offensive one in some ways. My gosh. Okay. This turd starts off with the crew leaving, well, Eastern Europe, as we get a fairly realistic depiction of an Eastern European port at the time. We have the Demeter, which is looking for more crew members, and the first crew member they really bring on board nearly ends up dropping a large box onto a kid because he caught sight of the one marking on the box, freaked out, and then got angry and stormed off, blaming them, the crew, even though the crew's going, "You nearly dropped it on our cabin boy. What the heck are you doing? I thought you had strong hands." "I do, but screw you. I don't have to do this. I mean, like, my feelings are hurt here." "What?" "There's a dragon on the box." "We don't care if there's a dragon on the box. If you're gonna quit or cause a scene, make sure the box is safe and it's not going to crash and kill a kid." Now, this guy is fulfilling the horror role of "you're all doomed," that guy. But while I do understand, okay, but on the other hand, you nearly killed a 9-year-old and the captain's grandson at that. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you get no sympathy from me. So, good start there. One of the first main characters outside the captain is Clemens, a black Englishman whom apparently is well educated and became a doctor. I'm not sure how he got his PhD, but if you consider how, I believe it was around 3 to 6% of the population of England at the time was black, and that there were, for example, Dido Bell, who was a noblewoman who was black, and that there were people who had some chance for upward mobility like that who were black in Britain at the time. And given that Britain had agreed to liberate all of her slaves in 1793 to 1800 in a series of court cases that are very fascinating to study, Clemens is actually realistic. Only thing is, why is he over in Eastern Europe? Apparently he went there to study and try to learn more about the world. Okay, I guess. No, it's like, okay. He's also a Christian and knowledgeable about saints. Okay. Would make sense considering, Only thing is, I think he'd be a little prejudiced against for one simple reason. Saints are Catholic ideas. This means he's Catholic. And you got to bear in mind, Britain at the time was Protestant. Now, that said, the crew are just grateful to have a doctor on board and that this guy saved their cabin boy. So they're willing to overlook such a unpleasant quirk, which, fair enough. So overall, it looks pretty good. The movie's coming along fairly well. Each crew member has his own motivation. Some of them like to, when they're on shore, visit the brothels. Others, such as the captain, just want to buy a house and retire. Still others aren't sure what they're going to do with their money because they're getting paid a bit of a bonus for transporting Count Dracula's goods to London and York. Others, like Clemens, are basically like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my bonus. But once I'm in England, I'm staying in England. I'm quitting the crew. Well, you still get a cut. You're part of the crew. Okay, well, I don't know. That's basically his answer. He's like, I just want to learn more about the world. So, I don't know. Okay. And the crew teases him and, yeah, okay. But then there's some noise and the animals are getting a little antsy. Cabin boy and Dr. Clemens go down to check it out. Clemens ends up happening upon the stupid discovery because Hollywood spilt one of their boxes full of earth. Sorry if I call it Hollywood. This part is so stupid. Apparently there was a still living girl in it, in the box. What? Why would Dracula transport a still living girl? He's going to England to get himself a couple of wives out there. He's not going to bring one along with him. Besides, she would not still be alive if Dracula had stuck her in one of his boxes. Do you know why? Because a vampire necessitates their native soil in their coffin. So, what that means is this woman must be dead in order to be transported on this bloody soil. So, ergo, she's a corpse. Ergo, vampiress. Ergo, Dracula brought backup on the ship. If you're going to go that route, she needs to be staked as a show of the heroes being able to fight back against her and against Dracula before they fall to Dracula. And because in the book, very few crew members survive. This movie has a lot more survivors than the book. And what's more is she ends up burning herself alive rather than turning into a vampire. But she's already supposed to be a vampire. All for love of Clemens. What? And Clemens ends up guiding the ship safely to harbor. Okay, wait, but it's supposed to crash. And it's just, he ends up in a tavern, sees Dracula, and vows vengeance against Dracula in the end. This movie's dumb. You can't have this idiot character. I have no idea what her name is. Anna or something. Or Anya. She can't be still running around. She has to be a vampire when she first appears. And, this just drives me nuts. Can't we just have even 5 seconds of fidelity to the bloody book? They're not even trying.
The immersion gets broken.
With her.
She
should be a vampiress.
This is a movie that doesn't require such a female character.
But we got a female freaking action girl. Why? There's no need for one. Nor should one even be hinted at. If you're gonna want to make a female-led Dracula movie, just adapt the whole darn book. Mina's more than action girl enough. And y'all should also portray her great love story with Jonathan. Or, here's an idea, if you're going to do this sort of setting, why not have, I'm just spitballing here, where at one point in the book, the coffins of Dracula end up in random places, such as, well, houses, mansions, castle, and whatnot. Why not have one of these locations have a housekeeper who's a lady or something? And you have a house full of servants with a few servants starting to disappear, and you can have a female-led action girl type who realizes that people are starting to disappear, and her and several other servants start banding together. Where this is not exactly something that happens in the actual book, but it could have happened, and it could happen in an isolated castle or something. Yeah, I know that's very classic with Dracula movies, but you could go from there. This Anna character should have appeared in such a film. Not on the Demeter. I'm sorry, but that's a boys' club. Not to mention, such a character, she got to be a vampiress. Because she's transported in Transylvanian soil and dirt. She's been in that box for weeks. She's already been bitten. This means 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. Not 1. Sorry, if I'm raging, it's because I'm raging. This is such a stupid film.
Because even if she were alive, she would have suffocated under all the dirt.
Well, not if she's on top of the dirt, but wait, there's no cracks or openings. This doesn't make any sense. Like, she should have suffocated, but bear in mind, she's already been bitten. So, she should be vamped. Like, this is so freaking stupid.
They needed a Scream Queen. That's the only reason why she was present.
They shouldn't have gone that way. So, let's rate this turd. I'm going to say a 0.
Yeah. Breaking immersion like that, not good.
No. It's unforgivable. And I'm going to say that every single cast member, for signing up to this, the script writer and the director should all be blacklisted. Every single one of them. Blacklist them.
And it's unfortunate because you have a talented
acting crew, but they got to stop signing up to the nonsense like this. There has to be consequences to this stupid. Blacklist all of them until they learn to do better. And I know people are going to say, that sounds like cancellation. I don't care. I'm sick to death of this sort of nonsense in these films. Like, if you must have a Scream Queen, the setting is important, and how you introduce her is important. I'm not saying I would have approved of this, but had she been a lady pretending to be a cabin boy, well, that's a trope. Yeah, and it works way better than vampiress. Suddenly, oh, she's not a vampiress. But she is! She was bitten! She must be a vampire! Oh, but we decided she isn't. Why? Because we just decided. Who? Like, no! You... Sorry, it's just... You cannot... Once a character is bitten by a vampire, that should almost be it. Except in Brides of Dracula. And even then, like, there, it was well done. And that's a classic. That's the finest horror movie ever made. It can get away with things no other horror movie can because of how well crafted it is. Every other horror movie out to learn lessons from it. This movie should have been great. Not a 10 things of what not to do in a horror film. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, and even if you didn't, hit that like and that subscribe button as though you were the real Dracula taking out this pretender.